Frags just yet, but Shock finds Crew, and the Earthshatter comes in. It's massive! Paragon showing us it's his turf. White's now
and the pulse pop from Trev ends up getting the double kill there in the backline. Upgrade able to pick up. Oh goodness, here comes the Blizzard! Gonna look to get the attack.
And then the sleep though, and the nade in, and they don't even need a single ult here to win it other than Shatter. And Kavat taking out Sosher there from a mile away.
The upgrade taking out Big Bro. That's the long one. Oh, but
Paragon with another Shatter! That's three
Shatters! Getting love in the background. This may be possible. It could be. It really could be the boom. Oh, still here.
Welcome to season 3. Welcome to season 3 of the Rose Cup. Season 3.
Welcome to season 3 of the Rose Cup.
Welcome to season 3.
Welcome to season 3 of the Rose Cup.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing match at Evo.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful evening here at the Rose Cup Season 3. We're here in the GM division tonight. So Grandmasters going at it beyond eSports versus xQc Money Crew. It's going to be a great night. I'm in a class joined by Megalad. And Megalad, tell us a little bit about something we're going to have tonight.
Well, what we're going to have tonight is, as you said, a very good match here in the GM division. We have the xQc's Money Crew currently running that 4-2 scoreline with a forfeit under their belt as well, whereas Damage Inc., aka Black Esports, aka they've changed their name a few times. They're looking at 2-4, so you know this is the point where they need to bounce back. xQc's Money Crew, this is where they want to solidify their spot near the top and things like that. So we're also on this new patch, so like maybe double barrier isn't the strongest thing, but at the same time it just came out today, so who knows.
Yeah, so what I've mostly been hearing about people say, okay, now double barrier is no longer OP, but it's still very good. So is anything going to change? Maybe, maybe not. Might depend on what teams have been playing over the past few weeks, whether they're already going to do something. It's all up in the air, but that's what we're here to find out. I mean, that's what makes it fun, right? It's never the same game, especially now, and that makes it interesting.
Yep, we're literally here on patch day. Some nice hero changes coming in. We could potentially see some Sombra counterplay coming in with nice little changes to her. Sigma as a whole, and same with Doomfist, just kind of getting nerfs across the board that might make them a tad less useful. Maybe they have to play around their teams more, or maybe they just switch it up on the fly, go for something, go for broke.
Yeah. Oh, what hero changes are you looking for most? Because you mentioned Doomfist and Sigma, but like, are there heroes that we haven't seen much that might have gotten a little bit buffed that we think we potentially could see a little bit more of?
I mean, obviously, like I said, the Sombra already, and then outside of that, I mean, like there's a bunch of different hero changes. I unfortunately did not get the chance to memorize them all. We have a nice little Moira nerf that came in as well, so maybe Moira isn't the most OP if you're not running that double barrier. It might allow different healers to come into the mix, your Annas, your Mercies, things of that nature. But we are starting off here in Nepal, interestingly enough.
Yeah, I mean, the Paul Village, all of that. What has been good on this map a lot is always shields. Turtling into that little side point. So I'm expecting something like that to happen anyways. But barrier, maybe even Reinhard Zarya. It's possible. Definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. And what you didn't touch upon, which I remembered that one because it was a pretty big one in my opinion, was that Lucio buff that we saw. Because he's now giving his team a lot more speed boost than before. So that could actually mean that a rush comp with a Reinhardt could be pretty good again.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like it just reverted the nerfs from goats, as we do have a little bit of a, yeah, we just do have a tad little DC. We're getting a game pause going, all
Look,
that
gives
fun
us more
stuff.
time to talk about the patch. Like let's get into it.
Definitely. But I mean, yeah, like you said, the Lucio, it could be interesting with the buffs. I'm actually going to pull up any and all patch notes just so I don't miss a hero to be specific. Because,
Look,
like I said, my memory
there's a
is
lot in
faulty.
there. Don't worry about it. I got most of it down, but I guess not everyone is as good at memory as I do. No, in all seriousness though, so like you say, the Lucio changes are kind of reverting what they did with that one Goats patch where they changed Lucio from a team hero to more of an individual hero. They kind of reverted that, but the numbers are slightly different than where they were before. So the speed boost isn't as active, and the wall ride nerf isn't as significant. So there's a few things, and a base speed boost and a base like aura, etc. It's all not as powerful as it was before it was changed to what it was before this patch. So it's kind of found a middle ground, which is a nice one, but it still gives a lot more speed boost than it did before. And on a map like this, where even ground battles are often taking place, and you can't really set up and poke people down from a distance, that would bode pretty well for a Lucio composition. For like a Reinhard Zarya composition that wants to run their enemy down, they probably can now, and I think that's pretty nice prospect to have.
Yes, indeed. And I mean, also, we do have to keep in mind the other hero changes we saw. We saw some Symmetra nerfs, so any real counterplay you might have seen from Symmetra, that's pretty much going to be gone, whether double barriers or not, just because the damage output isn't there anymore. The shield isn't as shieldy. But then we also have a bunch of dive buffs I completely forgot about. We have the Tracer now going to have
Yeah,
that extra
that's
little
the elephant
fall
in the
off
room,
range.
isn't it?
The Tracers can now carry games again. Thinking emoji.
Yeah.
Riggs got to come
Maybe.
back in just to counter that.
Maybe it's possible. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Tracer now can do max damage from 13 meters, which is up from 10 meters. Which means that not only does she do max damage from a further range, the damage fall off only begins at that range. So her max damage output from any range, from 30 meters or like 10 meters or further, is basically buffed by, well, quite a bit of percent, I'd say. So that also means she's way harder for anyone to really hook or flash or do anything to, because she's already further away from you in the first place, meaning she doesn't really have to worry as much about all the CC and what some people call unfair abilities versus her. She already has a low health pool. Now she can stay a little bit further away, and that might do something for her. And she'll get more damage output, probably with a few more pulse bombs. So it's potential that she comes back into the meta a little bit, but it doesn't look like these teams so far are going to opt for it. But that's not that weird on a control map like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, here on Control, regardless of the map, Ryan Zarya speed boost comps win because you want to be the first one on that point. And Control is always this weird beast we always get to talk about just because you're not always guaranteed attack and a defense. So a team who maybe is a very defense favored team will lose control almost every time just because if they're not getting that first hold, they're not aggressing, then it just is over for them. But this does favor the more aggressive side. So while we are still in this pause, I'm leaning towards the side with the Ryan Zarya right now. And of course, the Maze as well, specifically here on Village. That's just an icon.
Yeah, yeah, very true. And I hope the pause is gonna get resolved soon, because otherwise we're gonna be a little bit of a spot here. But it looks like it's gonna be fine in the end. Just waiting for people to come back, obviously. But right now, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what to expect. We do see one of the teams cutting out with the Ryan Zarya, the other with the Sigma Orisa. I don't know what that's really gonna change, if that's anything like if that actually is gonna be a good comp, because they're not running that Lucio with it right now. But then again, they aren't out of spawn yet, so a lot can change still. I don't think the Zen break is really gonna stick around. Like as fun as the characters are, they don't really work that well together because you just miss way too much healing in most cases, I feel.
Well, yeah, and then also there's still a lovely little 20 seconds that these guys are going to be locked in the spawn room, so switches can come
Hmm.
through. For example, Daddy Dank on the other side on xQc's money crew, maybe not sticking to a Pharah as we see him on right now, just because there's no Mercy to go with him, or maybe there will be a Mercy come for him later. A few different ways to switch and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, and with Daddy Dank potentially on the Pharah, I think Pharah is a pretty good pick. Maybe not as great on this map as you don't have that much open space to fly to fire at the enemy. Usually you are holding into that point, so there's only two really entrances you can do some splash damage into. But Pharah has still been very popular to break those point defenses because the barrage is just so powerful and it's very hard to get her out of the sky once you're indoors. So it's possible. But the melee seems more likely. The wall has always been good because you can just wall off one of the two entrances to the point, and also quite a few entrances to the point area in general. So getting through the chokes, doing a lot, and the ult covers the entire point. So there's just a lot you can do with the Mei here. Um, that being said, it's not the holy grail. You can obviously do things against the Mei as well, as long as you're just quick enough. And then people might not be accustomed to the new Lucio speed boost, so getting past the wall or getting past the Mei trying to wall you off might be a lot easier because she just doesn't expect you to be that fast.
Yeah, definitely. And then, but also, I mean, we're talking about a lot of projectile, for example, pulse bombs and blizzards, but Diva could possibly see a little bit of play as well, going back to the patch notes, just because we're
Potentially.
gonna have, yeah, you do have her defense matrix is now gonna be up a little bit longer. I just want to see dive again, just because it's been so long since we've seen it. I feel like it's cursed. As soon as we get it back, we're all gonna complain and be like, "Oh, take it away." But
Yeah, I mean, look. As much as I would like to see a little bit more dive, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we've passed the era that dive was viable, and I think a very big part of that is the way that supports and tanks have been, and also DPS to a degree have been developing. So where mobility, yes, is still important, it's not it's not important to the degree that you can just jump over everything and you'll be fine. Like map geometry actually matters in the way you rotate, and all the other tanks and supports currently in the game, it is very hard to ignore the fact that even though you can jump past them, they can still rotate to another place and just set up in any place on the map that they really want. You need to quick kill people very quickly in a very coordinated fashion, and it's just an outdated mode of playing Overwatch. So whereas dive is a very nice way of playing the game, or can be a very nice way of playing the game, it's not really a way that the game is being played in 2019. So we might see a different form that uses similar characters, but it won't be dive as nostalgically, we'd like to think about it.
then, of course, we haven't even covered the biggest change in the patch notes. Of course, Roadhog gets that extra bullet in the gun. Clearly, a
Hmm.
Roadhog meta on the horizon.
Well, it's not just
Uh,
that, right? So if you look at the Sigma patch notes, you can also see that Sigma's kinetic grasp now no longer like just evaporates that hook. So if you manage to break that Sigma barrier, which with that extra roadhook shot you have a better chance to do, and it regenerates slower, you might actually be able to hook the Sigma into yourself, and he can't block that. Even if he uses that ability now, the ability's gone. He's in your face. You can just start shooting him, and you still have probably two shots left because you only used four to break the barrier. So you might joke about, oh, it might be a Rodok meta again, but if that happens, it might be closer to a Rodok Orisa meta, and that we could go back to that. But Rodok is not actually that bad of a pick anymore.
yeah, it isn't, and obviously the synergy that has to exist between the Orisa and the Roadhog in those scenarios. But I mean, that's the thing, right? With this patch, just because we're uncertain of if double barrier is still the strongest thing in the world, we're still kind of feeling our way through it and learning. I feel like tonight might not be the night to break the mold, but going forward, like you're gonna
Probably not.
start to see less stuff. Like tonight is pretty much just gonna be okay. We've only been running double barrier, so let's just continue to run this, even though it's
Yeah.
weaker right now because nobody's really gonna switch it up, try to break the meta as it were.
Well, I mean, the interesting about that is that, for instance, I think it was last week. So some people were expecting maybe the patch to already go live last week. So there were some teams that had already been preparing different compositions that played into those patch notes that we've been talking about for a while now, and some of them were playing more dive-ish compositions with those type of tanks or with the more flexible DPS like Tracer. So they'd already been practicing that outside of the patch being live. So if either of these teams has also been doing that, it's possible that they now can finally pull it out with the power level being changed for those heroes and for the heroes that the enemy is picking. So that's why I'm saying it's not impossible that we see new stuff being tried tonight, but it is more improbable at the higher of the level you get, because at that level, even in competitive and in scrims, those teams play as like a very sustainable meta. They don't really like to risk a lot of things, especially when there's not really a lot on the line. They just try to perfect that one thing that they can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot, you know? It is
Yeah,
just a lot
it's a
with all the
lot.
patches and stuff like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people have described this as the actual 222 balance patch. So this was the patch that should have come in when 222 went live. And the Blizzard developers, they said, oh, you know what, we need to collect some stats first to see where everything goes, so we don't over nerf or buff things. So this is like the patch that they have actually collected the data after 222 went live, and this is what they concluded are the most necessary and almost all the changes that they really needed to come in first. So after this, we might not see that many changes for a while. We will all like almost certainly see a new hero in like 2 weeks that will also shake things up. So yeah, I'm very curious to see where the game is going to go. I'm very happy with the patch notes, but like you said, it's unlikely that we see the most meta shifting game tonight, because that's just not as amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, as you said, we're finally the developers are like, all right, you know what? It took us a second after 222, but we finally got the game balanced, and we're probably have another hero waiting on the doorstep to completely throw that balance all into the hole. Because I don't know, like it's just been a long time since the heroes slipped under the radar when they come into the game. I mean, sure, maybe you could count heroes like Wrecking Ball. They didn't do a whole lot of impact, but they still had their marks on the metas at the time and things like that. So I don't think we've had any just casually added to the game heroes in quite a while.
Well, it depends on what you say about casually added. I mean, Doomfist wasn't really that great. I mean, was very great when he got launched because he was basically you couldn't miss that punch. That hitbox was insanely big. The damage you did with it was way longer because she had a longer range, and people flew further after they got punched as well. Um, but I think one hero that really didn't get that much play after she was added straight away was Moira. She had a little bit of trouble, but then when Brigitte came out, the first iterations of Goats, Moira was played at the time. So there's a lot of different things that happened with different heroes that came out that either they got over buffed or over nerfed, or they were too strong or not strong enough during their release. Because Baptiste has been a steady hero. He hasn't done much, but he's just been a steady hero basically. So yeah, right now we're looking to find out what's actually going to happen. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and then also now that because I think this is well, no, Sigma technically was the first because he came with roll lock, but this will be the first hero where they've been implemented after roll lock, so possibly they might be balanced better because that was one of the biggest things they were talking about was
That
roll
was the
lock allowed
goal.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it allowed them to balance heroes better. Interestingly enough, they didn't change Roadhog at all, but no, I'm not
They said they might, right? They said they might make him into more of a tank rather than just a DPS tank, which
and then
it's interesting concept. But now they've added another shot, be making him more of a DPS tank than he was before. I don't. It's one of those things where they've probably toyed around with it. I have one question for you though. So
uh,
someone brought this up to me, and I was like, yeah, you know what? It makes sense, but I don't know if that's actually going on here. So they argued that like dive heroes have been buffed a lot right now, and they've done this before when the next hero comes in, they already prepared the balance of the game to suit the way that hero works. Is it possible that the next hero would either be a tank or a support or whatever it will be, that just functions better with those more mobile compositions rather than these like static ground-based compositions?
I mean, it's certainly possible, but at the same time, I think nobody really knows where the Overwatch developers are at any point. They could chuck out a hero that fits in line with all the balance changes, or they
Just
could
chuck one out.
add
Let's go.
they could or they could add another skill to the game and be like, hey, listen, all these dive heroes, no. But we're finally back in the game.
We
Only a
are
little
back
bit
in
of
the
rambling.
game, and before anything else happens, I'm just gonna leave you with one thing before we get to the game, and that is pyro tank. Just give me something with flamethrowers, I'll be happy. But right now, we
Reinhardt
are
has
looking
Fire
to
Strike.
finally get. No. That was the last thing I was gonna say about it. So now we're just gonna go. But hey, Nepal Village, see both these teams come out on it. We are seeing the Moira Lucio on both sides. No Swimmer going over to the Mercy because of that Farah in the sky. And there's going to meet on the point Reinhardt Zarya versus Orisa Sigma. And a little bit of difference in the DPS as well, the support line. But it's going to be double barrier versus no double barrier. That's the most of the thing we're looking at. And the no double barrier has taken place on the objective. So no static shielding for the double barrier. But oh, Meme team is just going down. Daddy Dank on a pair, already on the Farah, almost got the barrage already. This is just a slaughter right now, and I don't really know what they're going to do about it. They might switch some things up, but we'll see what they're going to do on the other side.
Yes, indeed. I mean, xQc's Money Crew played that beautifully. They just, hey, we're going to hold all your attention over here while our Farah rains damage into the backline. Daddy Dank already built up to that barrage, obviously 3%, but that's just a raw get. Elite now on the other side, switching over to that McCree, potentially sticking with it as we see the double barrier now come out to mirror on the other side, but Daddy Dank decides, you know what, your spawn isn't safe enough for you, Moira. Go back to it.
I don't think she was actually in the spawn. It's too far
It was
out.
close enough. She was
Yeah.
close enough.
Oh,
And
Daddy
I
Dank
mean-
gets taken down the other side, so they're going to have a clear approach while Daddy Dank gets rest, and they're going to take advantage of it, going in straight away. And now there's no res on the table as well. The healing comes out from the Moira. Ion a little bit of pressure, but will just be able to progress safely forward. Elite, same story, and now they're going to have a little bit more space to work with. No small corridor to walk through, no fire that can really pressure them, but they has the barrage ready. Daddy Dank is looking for it, but Elite is looking for Daddy Dank. And it's going to be hard for them to really keep pressing on this one. They need to just hold on this point. The wall is out. Nothing to be done there. Mei goes in her ice block. A lot of defensive abilities used here already for the side of xQc's Money Crew, but there is the barrage. Daddy Dank, no mercy for you. Gets the 4K, gets the 5K follow-up on the 0, and Daddy Dank follows it up with the 6K. That is a statement.
I mean, that was just like, nobody killed anybody. It was just a brawl back and forth on the point. And for some reason, Daddy Dank on the far was able to just secretly sneak around. Nobody saw anything. Elite couldn't do anything. And just huge barrage, obviously comboed with the ult there, as you saw the Orisa in the feed. And now it just comes out of this poke war yet again as Daddy Dank already almost halfway to another barrage as they're up on this high ground.
Yeah, not as close to the last time, so they have a little bit more time to work with before that one is up. And they have some ultimates off their own, especially that Soundberry getting very close from Ion that could make a big difference versus that Valkyrie from Swimmer. But there is a nice gravitic flux, does get a little bit of people in the air, and even the freeze comes out afterwards, but they don't really get a lot of follow-up on that. Elite actually gets a double kill here. Swimmer and Mori going down, but Zero, Meme Team, Rob the Hood, they're all falling on the other side. And what looked to be a very good start of the fight with a lot of investment from the side of xQc's Money Crew just falls apart, and that's the first point going over to xQc's Money Crew as a result.
I mean, it was just, there were quite a few ultimates used in that fight, almost too many to count, but in the end of the day, it just, the Deadeye, as you said, able to get those 2 crucial picks, but there was no real follow-up on any other damage after that. The barriers kept everybody safe inside of that point as they were able to just slowly but surely whittle down the rest of Beyond Esports, and now we are heading to, I believe this is the Shrine. I always confuse the names, but I'm 95%.
No, this is Shrine. You're correct. This is Shrine. You remembered correctly, my friend. So yeah, Sanctum is the inner part where you fall towards Zenyatta's treasure. Right now they're gonna come out similar compositions as before. Zero now gonna be on the Doomfist, not on the Mei, but everything else is pretty much the same.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Doomfist here can offer you just a little bit more, even with those nerfs coming in. You can still try to catch out the Mei on the other side, as well as potentially getting a pick onto the Sigma himself, get him out of position, but we got to see what it does for him.
Well, as long as you're behind the shield, you're still safe to punch wherever you want, but Elite is looking for Daddy Dank, and the other get J2HC. And that is going to be a good opening there, getting that Sigma out of the way. That's one less barrier to worry about. But the res does come in. Now the Coalescence comes out. The barrage on the other side. They do trade out kills, though. And it does look like they're actually going to come out on top of this, being Zero and Crew. Mean Team following up on Daddy Dank as well. As a result there, Mori under pressure. Zero and Mori traded out for each other, but it still is a numbers advantage here for Rub the Hood and Mean Team. Ion just punching in with that Lucio as well. Will get taken out by the Orb of Wolf. And now the respawns are coming in. This fight went on for too long. It does look like xQc's Money Crew might actually be able to recover from this. It was a pretty close one. The Elite is back as well. They got to win this duel versus Daddy Dank, and it looks like they're not able to do it. Daddy Dank back on the field, 32% towards the next barrage. Meanwhile, the Gravitic Flux is coming out here as well. J2HC getting 2 kills as a follow-up of that one. Fight is finally over, and it does look like this first point control is going to go over to xQc's Money Crew, but that almost went wrong for them.
Yes, it did, but once again, we're noticing a lack of follow-up on Beyond Esports here. Just they're able to get the target's position, they're able to get the numbers advantage, but they can't take advantage of it. And I mean, this far in the sky clearly is just dealing a lot of damage and a lot of zoning pressure that one McCree alone can't handle unless he's able to hit 2 consecutive headshots, take one of the 2 out of the sky. There's really just too much pressure between the barriers and everything else for him to do much.
Oh, Zero going in deep and going out again. Has a Meteor Strike ready, but so is the Blizzard of Mori. Did get close to another barrage. This is going to be a close one. Needs to get the kill here, Zero, but he doesn't get anything. Manages to get out with a Meteor Strike, and is now going to try to land on someone to smack them to the ground. Oh, Spike on a lot of pressure. Gets taken out, and that's a big one to lose. Is Mercy going to be able to rest that? Doesn't look that like that. They're going to put a lot of pressure onto this, but they're all in that Blizzard. Elite frozen. Rob the Hood frozen, but they are able to throw out a sound barrier. Doesn't matter what Danny Dank gets another 2 after that, but they are traded out. It means it's a 4v4 right now. The Gravitic Flux comes out, only gets the Moira. I think she just fades out. No, she doesn't, because she's still has that, didn't have that fake cooldown ready, but the fight is still on. There's still numbers on both sides, and they're still able to get something done. With Zero just goes down, and with their percentage ticking up, they really need to bring an end to this quickly. Otherwise, there's not gonna be anything happening for the Mean Team following as well. And Elite, I don't think they can do anything. You're trying to go on the Tracer with a little more damage now, but it doesn't look like that's going to be enough.
I mean, and once again, we're just noticing there's so much just teamwork coming out of the side of xQc's Money Crew. You can see between these players, it's like, okay, this guy's low, everybody focus in real quick, turn. And then there's just one clear voice. The comms are probably working silky smooth, and Beyond Esports right now just looks like they're throwing anything at a wall, hoping it sticks.
Yeah, and obviously there's a reason why they're a little bit higher in the standing. Spike already taking down Mean Team. There goes Zero, 97 and 8%. It's just counting. There's nothing they can do, it seems like. Everyone keeps going down. Another Blizzard follows. Going to be Ion falling after that one, and it's just not Gabby. Elite is still there on the Tracer. What are you going to do? A lowly British gal. You're not going to be able to do much. Mean Team comes back on the Wrecking Ball. And Zero is back on the Doomfist as well, but they have no ultimates, nothing to work with, and they're just going to make the overtime tick down. And first map's going to go to xQc's Money Crew with 2-0 and 200 to zeros.
I mean, there was one fight here at the beginning of the Shrine that looked winnable for the side of Beyond Esports. Other than that, it was just all xQc Money Crew in the kill feed and Daddy Dank on the Pharah. Feel like we've said that name quite a bit already, but I mean, when you're putting up performances like this, it's really hard to dispute that you are the dominant DPS thus far.
Yeah, I mean, we got a question. Does it have anything to do with him actually being better, or just getting the bigger hero pick? That's sometimes something you can ask yourselves. But control is always a bit of a weird mode. A lot of the time when one team gets that dominant position, like they did on the side of xQc's Money Crew, it's hard to really lose that position. And it didn't really look like that ever really happened. So we are gonna be going to map 2 I'm still optimistic. I mean, still a lot can happen, and the right map can change a lot. So it will all depend on what Beyond Esport will actually pick. It looks like they want to go to Anubis.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Anubis offers quite a few different options for him. I always bring it up and it never happens, but I'm hoping for the day it does. The iconic old school Junkrat Orisa defense on point A. But obviously now we're looking in this double barrier meta, but maybe things have shifted. Maybe you want to attempt that bunker comp, thinking a full hold might be more possible. As for the attacking side, you have a few different options yourself. Sombra always been quite helpful here on Anubis just because this first point is a tough cookie to crack, but Sombra can make it that much easier because EMP is just broken. There's no other way to put it.
Well, EMP just breaks a lot of your abilities, so that is true. It breaks more than it's broken, I presume, but your team's broken afterwards. That's the definitely the correct expression to put there. But it looks like, yeah, I mean, Junkrat could come back though, because like we said before, there's about 10% less shields overall, especially if you can destroy them quickly. So that it might actually be more than 10%, might be 20 or 30%. So with Bastion Junkrat defenses, that's very hard to get through with those type of compositions. You might not even get through the choke into the room on the right before they're able to do anything about that. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to set up on the defense. It looks like they might actually go with a Widow Junkrat here. So it is the Orisa Junkrat with the Roadhog, even if Rub the Hood. And we talked about it. Roadhog got a buff. The Junkrat didn't get a buff necessarily, but the shields got a nerf. So this could work out for them.
Yes, indeed. We have a little bit more idea of what the defenders are running with that nice and powerful Widow, just because they have to be out ready to go. But it's interesting to see the Baptiste with this combination of heroes, just because there's not really a bunker setup. You know, you don't. I guess you could want the Roadhog to stand still, but at the same time, if you're standing still as Roadhog, chances are you're feeding over ult charge. So it'll be interesting to see what the Baptiste wants to do, and also how they play with the anti-nade, if they try to use it to keep their team sustained through long fights, or if they just try to anti somebody on the other team and end them quickly.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I will be surprised if Daddy Dan gets as much done as they did on the last map, especially with against that Widowmaker of the elites. Is already looking towards some sniper shots. J2HG soon to fall. It's an early pick. Sigma down immediately. That's a good start for the defense already.
Yes, indeed. I mean, that's the kind of thing you want to see if you're on the defense here, because now you're reeling from that first map, you're stopping the momentum, and now you're meeting them here in this choke. And the Junkrat's going to have a little bit more of an advantage in these tight corridors.
Yeah, you can see how much damage he's already done. 50% towards that for his first Rip Tire, and that's a great start. Daddy Dank not anywhere close to that. Going through the right room right now, they are getting pelted with nades, and that means a lot of people are getting very low. Ion will fall to Mori here. The Doomfist actually coming in and doing something, but it's under a lot of pressure. Now onto Elite in the backline, but meantime, his entire team is getting pelted by those Junkrat nades, pelted by the tanks of Rob the Hood and Mean Team. And they got to come back from spawn. Like right now, there's just a Mercy in that right room. I think she's getting out, but no, not all that safely consciously. Oh, Mori comes in though. Good, gets Elite out of that. No Mercy to rest that. Mori will fall on the other side though. No, he won't. He gets out. And Daddy Dan gets Ion as well. Just 2 picks from a unsuspecting Doomfist. You thought he was nerfed, but not enough. And it looks like this first point is not going to be in the control of the defense for long.
That fight was so interesting to me because
it wasn't a fight. It was just,
but yeah, exactly. There was picks after picks, but Swimmer was noticed on that Mercy, and he was able to get out. But Daddy Dank went all the way back to defender's spawn to spawn camp Ion on that Baptiste, didn't let him come back, and allowed the rest of his team to do work. Obviously, the Doomfist getting picks help, but there was a healer that was just safe, and now Daddy Dank once again. I mean,
Elite's already down. Crazy. This Riptire is going to come in big, and Zero's in no position to use that. Just with the team taken out straight away. J2HC just uses that kinetic grasp to block every incoming damage. Meteor Strike is out. Going to go for the Ana. Doesn't even need it because the barrage already takes them down. Daddy Dank will fall. The Riptire is on its way from spawn. They have spotted it. It gets Wolf, and that's a big pick. No Moira means a lot of healing gone because that Mercy cannot do it on her own after that Valkyrie goes down. So they are going to come back in with team. Not even the second tick has been given up yet. This is a very good position to still come back into it. Then you can start getting some picks. Not Gabby, Rub the Hood. They're all thrown in the air. Gabby actually gets out here with the fade, and they get the supercharger out. Elite is on the tracer now. They need to start getting picks, like I said, but they're not. It's Rub the Hood and Not Gabby going down. A lot of healing, a lot of damage, and tanking is gone. Meme Team rolling around that wrecking ball. Ion on the Lucio. They're all going down, and they're all not living long enough to get anything done. No ultimates are anywhere close besides that sound barrier from Ion, but he's nowhere to be seen. And that point ticking in the favor xQc's Money Crew once again, and it's a 3-minute 50 time bank. That's pretty good.
I mean, so far xQc Money Crew has been able to find just these openings that shouldn't exist and get these crucial key pickoffs onto just anybody, and then that just dismantles the team from there. It looks like Beyond, they know what they're doing when they're a full 6. They're like, all right, we got this. We're a unit or a team, and you just take about one piece of that machine and it all falls apart.
Yeah, right now, obviously, 350 is still something you can look at. Like, it's a total of 7 minutes, so still 3 minutes 10 that were taken off the time, making it not a complete snowball. But it was pretty close. Like the first fight didn't really go their way, but after I think the first and the second fight, but after that they were just the DPS were behind the enemy team, came back in and just messed them up. There's nothing really else to say about it. Both Elite and Ion just had no chance of getting out of that alive. And if it's a 4v6, you generally win that fight. Like no matter what your composition is, you generally just win that fight. And on second, it was just an old advantage. Like the tire didn't come out when it maybe needed to, so there was no snowball slowing down because of the tire, and they just couldn't get any more picks. It was just the tire got one, and that's all they got.
Yes, indeed. As now we're seeing the defenders set up for the side of xQc's money crew, and they're deciding to run with this May once again. The advantages you have is just zoning with just the wall alone. That's not talking about your ice block. That's certainly not talking about your freeze pick potential. And now on the other side, we're going to see the Elite probably try to open up on the Widow, just see if there's a Pharah that can be shut down, because so far Daddy Dank is just an uncontested in the skies, and he's got to be the 1-to-1v2, which is a position no one wants to be in.
Yeah, that pharmacy is not something you want to not have go unchallenged. Does a lot of damage. They are in the room and they are still alive. They have enough health. The wall is down, and now they can start progressing. Elite is still in the center. Still wants to just take that off angle position. That means the Sigma Shield's gonna have to block them off. But they're on the high ground now. They're ready. They're looking for that pharmacy. They're looking for anything they can find. Elite finds Wolf. That's a big pick. It's a lot of healing gone for that front line. Daddy Dank goes after them, but it doesn't mean you can actually res that Moira. It does, but Daddy Dank is now alone in their spawn room. And then meanwhile, the enemy team has been progressing. They're actually trying to get up this high ground. The high ground has almost been cleared, so they are through now. They're through onto this, and now Elite coming back from spawn will have so much more space to work with. Zero going very low, so does Mean Team, but they have the safety of that room to retreat back into if they want to. Rob the Hood also same really same story. Daddy Dank, you see how careful they're playing. There's a pharmacy. It's around that corner. They'll want to go in the sidelines of Elite, but Elite sees them anyways. Not being shut down so far though, and Daddy Dank actually gets that barrage up without any contest. Zero gets one pick on Spike, but that res is still there, so that means nothing has been achieved by the attack. That was such a long one, and they got nothing done with it. I gotta wonder what went wrong.
I mean, that entire fight, you do have Elite back at the choke, just kind of firing shots, hoping to finally find that head, but you said it yourself, they were playing so defensively favored. There was either a shield or a wall every way. Elite couldn't hit a head, not because of lack of skill, just out of there was no head to click. Everybody was hiding.
Now they're obviously going to try again. The time is not up yet. They still have time to work with. Ion already going very low here. Elite coming back from the main again. Swimmer is down though. That puts Daddy Dank in a very compromising position. Elite will fall on the other side, so Daddy Dank's a little bit safer. But this healing is going to be so much harder to come by, especially with Spike going down as well. They put Mori in the ice block. They get J2HC. This looks like a very good chance. If they don't get it here, I really don't know what's going to go wrong. And with Daddy Dank going down, no barrage can stop them as well. This is looking good.
This is looking good. However, now you have Elite switching over to the Tracer, which means that's going to be an ult reset, but you're not too upset about losing that. Is there a last-second contest? Moira deciding, don't worry, I got this. But if you're the defenders, you're also not sweating it just because your ult economy is massive. Outside of a few percent, you're looking at full 6. That can definitely get you through at least one defensive ult.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope so at least. That's you're not gonna be happy if it doesn't end up that way. Right now, though, they are coming in. Daddy Dank throws at the barrage, but doesn't get anything for it. Swimmer going very low as well. Has that Valkyrie, now throws that out. The Gravitic Flux coming out as well here from J2HC. Rub the Hood falls as a result of that. Daddy Dank gets rezzed in the meantime, and there's the Blizzard. Throws out another ultimate in order to try to defend this, and they are getting the freezes onto the tanks. No one will be able to survive that. Elite gets the pulse bomb kill to J2HC. Very quick pulse bomb build. Wolf goes down. Daddy Dank as well. Elite doing a lot of work together with Rub the Hood, but they don't have the numbers to keep fighting this. Their spawns are too far away, and that means this push is unfortunately stifled.
Yeah, Elite popping off towards the end there along with the Hood, but as you said, just your numbers onto CP, you have to get a full team wipe, or you're gonna have to at least have 5 men up when the other team's down, just because the respawns are so close for the defenders. But now they're in a better position. Now they're countering the pharmacy with pharmacy. May isn't going to be able to get as much done, but Supercharger initiate.
Supercharger is out. Spike will lose that one pretty quickly to Zero, who's now also on the Pharah. That Pharah has been very hard to deal with from their side, so they're thinking, you know what, we can make it hard for you too. Mori almost goes down to the hook, but the wall was very nice. Zero has fallen to the duel of with Daddy Dank, and that means that this Mercy is going to be very lonely, but she gets back to the team. The Coalescence is out of Not Gabby, and that means that right now they need to start fighting on this objective. They need to start clearing it, they need to start getting some kills. But once again, the kills are not really starting to flow through. The respawns are going to be back. Elite goes down, almost another pulse bomb as well. There's another gravitic flux that already been built up, and that means that this fight is going to be very hard to win. And with 2.5 minutes left, they're going to put some pressure on it. Otherwise, they might not even get another chance to attack, even if they cap the point.
I mean, it's so boggling to continue to watch this because it seems to be the same thing over and over again. Beyond esports, they start that fight off with a Coalescence to initiate, and xQc's Money Crew just decides, okay, we're just going to go sit behind this wall and nothing's going to happen. And nobody from Beyond decided to push up, take that space. And so ultimately it was just kind of a standstill on the point. And there needs to be an initiation here from the attackers. They're the ones that have to take the point, not vice versa.
Yeah, they are finally having the ultimates, but then Daddy Dang just comes in, gets another first kill on the Not Gabby. That's almost all your healing gone as well. They do get the risk because they have Ion now on the Mercy, so that means it's a numbers advantage here for the attackers. The Barrage comes out from Zero, doesn't get any kill from that, but does take out the Supercharger for Spike very early once again. Supercharger of the attacker still there. Beyond esports actually trying to get there. Spike goes down. Mean Team will not have a Supercharger anymore, but it did its work. The rest comes into the Spike. Mean Team goes down. Mori falls as well, but it looks like the defenders once again are starting to get the kills, and they're getting more than Beyond esports is. So xQc's Money Crew once again holding on to this objective, and with only a minute left, they're going to be very happy here.
Yeah, and the plus side, if you're looking for the attackers here, is both sides have tapped out their ult economy outside of a Gravitic Flux, but if you... It just feels like there's so much uncontested damage that's coming in, and it's just being allowed to be absorbed by Beyond esports here. There needs to be a path of action. They need to try to take some of this space. They need to be the aggressors in this situation, and they don't have any more time to stall out.
Time is definitely running out. The picks need to come. They need to come now. The ultimates are there for the defense. But Elite gets the first kill. They get Swimmer as well. No more supports online for the defense. This is a good start. Grub the Hood will go down, but they get J2HC. They get Mean Team falls as well. But Daddy Dank, nothing you can do with the power this time around. Mori will get 0 as well, so they are still trickling down deaths. They got the res up, but that's about all they did. Now they need to get this Moira that came back in. They need to get that Lucio from Swimmer that came back in. They need to start getting more kills. The damage is gone. They only have Elite there on the Tracer. A little bit of Sigma damage. Mean Team goes back on the Wrecking Ball, so does J2HG, and the Winston from Spike is out as well. But once again, they need to keep killing things. It's only Wolf that has gone down. Since everyone was basically wiped and not even a tick has come in yet, they need more, and Spike and Mori are just not going to let them have it. It's going to be a defensive hold here. 3 kills come in, and I don't think anyone can touch. I don't know what, I mean, even if they can touch, I don't think they can stall out till overtime, and they're definitely got to be able to cap this point.
Yeah, and the Barrage just seems to kind of be putting the number on as Elite, and they continue to try to touch just out of desperation, but that overtime wick is burning, and just... I mean, it's an interesting match thus far with xQc's Money Crew going up 2-0. Possibly going into Hybrid and Escorts. Those are map types that will favor the play styles more, but so far right now, xQc's Money Crew is looking to clean sweep it.
Yeah, it's looking very good for xQc's Money Crew. They're definitely looking like the dominant team in this matchup so far. There is obviously, like you said, still a possibility that it goes another way. Still a possibility that we see some comebacks coming in, but that's always a question mark you have to ask yourselves. For now, all we know is that we're going to go to a little bit of a halftime, get everyone a little bit of chance to catch their breath, go do something else, get a little bit of water, and then maybe discuss, if they can do some really new meta type of strategy. Because the Tracer of Elite actually did a lot of work. Maybe that's something they're going to pursue in the next maps.
Potentially, but like you said, we got to get that halftime out of the way, so we will be back.
See you on the other side, guys.
And a sneaky hammer down from Raven.
Shatter falls from Paragon. The Blizzard will follow it up. I don't think anyone's getting out alive over here. There's the Blaze. There's the Nano Blaze. Brings it down to the Bear. Doesn't yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Nemesis needs to go see a chiropractor. The straw that broke the camel's back seems to be blue, just finally matching his DPS on the other side of the screen and dragging out.
Never reminded, never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be. Making emotion pentacle and so tell me, is this what you made me?
And you can walk through that bunker comp, it really kind of prevents you from getting some picks here. Of course, Vivek's doing a lot of work here, taking down both Snee and Raccoon in the air, and then of course getting a flashbang kill onto Ozymandias as they just roll right through Dark Allegiance. So, of course, all of my analysis was completely wrong.
Looking for the sextuple, not going to be able to get it, unfortunately. But team kill still going to ring out loud and proud as RGH takes down.
Welcome, everyone. We are back with the Rose Cup Season 3, another night of fun and games beyond eSports Black versus xQc Money Crew. I'm Men of Class. I use Omega LOL, and I'm with Omega Lad. It's going to be amazing. We have 2-0 right now for Beyond for xQc's Money Crew, and they are doing pretty well. You know, it wasn't like it was fairly close at both of those maps, but there is a potential they can pull it back, Mega Lad.
Yes, indeed. Like I said, beyond esports, they seem to be feeding into this passive playstyle a bit more, and that's something that can favor you on these maps with a payload. Just because the payload allows you to move a little bit, it doesn't mean you have to give any tempo. It gives you your tempo because you can only move as fast as the payload.
Yeah, you know what? That's the whole point. You know, not having this static map objective. Obviously, on hybrid, we'll still have that a little bit. Still be a first point that you have to attack. Once that payload gets unlocked, though, on this map and the next, it's going to be a an ever-changing scene, really. And right now, we're looking to Blizzard World, a wonderful theme park, even ground on most of the map as well. Not going to be that easy to just hold at a distance and shoot at them.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's just a lot blocking the way here from the attacker spawn to point A. So there's a few different strategies people have adapted. You have these high ground setups that people like to do on this front left perch. Then, of course, you just have the point itself. People can rotate back and forth. But interestingly enough, here we're going to see the bunker composition try to come out here with a diva instead of the double barrier. And this possibly could feed into the diva buffs and maybe stop something like a barrage from coming down full force onto a bastion.
I mean, we have talked about Daddy Dank just doing way too much work, and what's always been the classic counter to Diva, sorry, to Pharah, indeed, it was Diva. And now that her defense matrix has been buffed, could be good. We'll see.
Yes, indeed. And plus a bastion raining damage now that they're set up on this super back high ground, kind of nearish the point. This could be their opportunity, and it looks like they're trying to attack bastion here for the side of xQc's money crew.
Yeah, it's just going to be mirror comps all the way, and that's actually quite an interesting proposition because Daddy Dank has been doing a little bit better. I mean, J2HC and the Diva of Rob the Hood are the one difference. That means a little bit more barrier for the attack, and that will probably just out. Yep, there we go. Elite already down. Mean team as well. You can't win the barrier war if you only have 1 versus 2, it seems. Swimmer takes down Knock Gabby, a little bit of that Mercy pistol action, and with Zero and Ion being the only ones left, I don't think they're going to be able to hold on to this one, Megalad.
What I love the most is Daddy Dank and Swimmer went on this very long flank as the final pick comes onto Ion. They went on this very long flank through the building, and by the time they resurfaced to start fighting with their team, they're like, guys, we're here. Maury's like, I already killed them all. So he's just kind of looking around like, oh, nice, we have the point. But now looking into this, it's interesting that we finally see them. It's a pirate ship, and we finally have the mirror. The Sigma switch has occurred because, unfortunately, 2 barriers are better than 1. It's just simple math.
Yep.
And I don't know. Daddy Dank built up to another barrage, and as we've seen so far, they've been nothing but devastating.
It looks like Mori's set up even further forward. Doesn't even go with the ship. Ship now finally getting to them, and Mori not even gonna jump on it. But Spike goes down to Elite. That's a very good pick. A nice application matrix allowing that to happen. And right now, they're just afraid to go around the corner. They don't have the resources. They don't have the shields right now. J2HC doesn't even have the barrier up just yet. Rub the hood. There's the amplification matrix from the attack coming out of xQc's money crew. Trying to do a lot of damage here, but what are they damaging? Not that much. Just J2HC pushing the cart forward while everyone else is playing the back. Now Gabby and Wolf both losing their immortality fields already. Meme team Elite, they're trying to do something, go back into that room, but that gravitic flux just seals the deal here. Gets Elite, but Elites get rezzed. It's not over just yet, but Elite is very lonely on that low ground. Pulls out the tank mode to just get a little bit mobility, a little bit more damage to pump out that way. There is the barrage from Zero. Gets to. This fight looks to be decided in the favor of the defense, and that's a good fight to win for them because that payload not even that far along.
Not even that far along, and it's also in a defendable position as you have the high ground directly above you if you want to go back, set up there again. And you're going to have a bit more of a sight line with your Pharah being 0 over Daddy Dank just because the choke is only so far away. So it's just going to become this poke war once again. And we've got to look to the ultimates once again here. It's pretty much dead even. This is finally the time where the defenders can pull ahead and get a real advantage in this match.
Oh, Elite was very solo on that high ground. Gets taken out by Mori because of after a follow-up of a nice work of J2HC. Now the Sigma is a little bit in lonely territory up there, and the res does come in from Ion, but they paid with that with their lives. Elite being chased down by J2HC, which is camping that body. This takes them out again, I feel like. No, Elite gets out of that alive for now. Let's go back to the team, back to the healing of Nakabi, and the payload is trying to progress, but doesn't really get that far. They still haven't pushed it one bit, actually. Just trying to kill them in spawn, but that payload's got to move, guys. It's an objective-based game.
Are you sure? It sounds like Daddy Dank just kind of wants to go for a limb after limb here. And like
Alright, they're gonna push that payload. What are you guys talking about?
Well, yeah, but Daddy Dank's just like, don't worry, guys. We don't need the payload as long as we kill them. But that ultimate advantage I was talking about, it very quickly slipped out of their hands. There's now 4 ults as B's gonna be capped here.
Oh, that's a beautiful Gridic Flux denying them for the point contest, really, and the Elite will go down straight away. They're trying to follow up on some more kills. I do think they have the health to get away with this, though, and it's only J2HC going into this room to chase them. They could have just turned around and killed the Sigma, but they're choosing to go for the safer approach, going after the pharmacy instead somehow. Swimmer will lose their lives because of that, and they still have the Sigma behind them. a little bit of a flank approach, and Mori capitalizes on that, takes down Meme Team and not Gabby, because the shield was in a little bit of a weird position. Meme Team will get res, but you're still missing that Baptiste, and that's a big part of your defense. The barrage comes out from Dank Daddy, or Daddy Dank really gets 4 kills out of that, including that supercharger afterwards. Just a team kill. It is just gone.
Yes, indeed. And I mean, the Resurrect coming in now, there's just a full head of steam as the Money Crew is approaching the end of point C here. There's got to be a stop. Elite now on this Sombra, possibly getting some crucial hacks going in. Supercharger already initiated. This could be brutal.
Yeah, they're gonna just try to do a lot of damage. Luckily, the barrage isn't there anymore, and Zero might be able to do a lot of work with that one again, like last time. We'll get the kill on the Spike, and maybe on the JD's HG. No, there is gonna be a nice immortality field. They're gonna get the kill on the Ion Meme Team, not Gabby. It's all falling apart here. Meme Team now the last one alive after being rezzed. The Elite came back on the Tracer, but a lone Tracer versus 6 people is not gonna be able to do much. They're gonna try to get back in there with Zero, but you don't have as much shields anymore, Doomfist. You're gonna fall, and with 2 minutes 29, that's a pretty good completion of Blizzard World.
Yes, indeed. And now, at least to force extra rounds, we've got to see Blizzard World compete once again. And keeping in mind, this is for the series. If the reverse sweep's gonna happen, it's got to start here. It's got to start now. And it's quite a bit of a hole that's been dug. But beyond that, I mean, they showed they have some defensible points. They have some points where they can take advantage and win fights. So this is where it's got to be. Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
I mean, did you see that coming, that we're gonna do the Pharah here? Because we have seen that be pretty popular in the past few weeks on this map in particular. Is it something they?
I
Because
mean,
we've seen Daddy Dank be on the Pharah basically the entire series. We haven't seen Daddy Dank on any other hero. Is that something that just needs to be dealt with? Does Pharah need to be nerfed? Is it like, what's the problem here?
I think it's just this specific matchup right now. There just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of counterplay to the Pharah. And the one time they wanted to try to test out a diva, and unfortunately they were forced to switch just because double barrier is a lot like the goat's composition in the fact of if you're not mirroring at least those shields, then you're losing the fight because it's just so crucial. Like you can get away with it if both teams decide we're not going to run the Sigma or the Orisa, whichever shield you want to drop. But
Well,
once it's just one team, that's where the problem comes in. And
I will say, I think a big added problem to that is also that they were running the Bastion on the attack. Like XQC's Money Crew, they don't run that Bastion. The double barrier is not as important as it usually is, but it just amplifies the problem, doesn't it? So, yeah, application matrix as well. They're gonna come in now with that Symmetra Bastion strategy. That's an interesting one. Will Daddy Dank be able to counter that? They already pulled them in pretty well. They get some damage on them, but right now they are just in trouble. They need to start getting to this objective. They need to start doing it fast. Robin the Hood is already trying to get further forward, and Elite just gets taken down. They trade out the Bastion for the Pharah, but you'd rather have the Bastion of your own versus Mori still being alive and Daddy Dank's being rezzed. You need that Bastion back, baby. They do get to J2HC, finally a little bit too far away from the team, too much on the flank, and the amplification matrix is already on. They took way more damage, so they have it sooner, and that means that Mori's gonna fall. No res yet for the side of Swimmer, but they do get Zero on the other side. Now they need to start getting some more damage down. They need to start getting the kills here. Dank with the barrage already just takes out everybody. You don't even know what's happening. Elite just take them out, but with only Elite alive, that Bastion is not gonna solo this point.
I mean, once again, it's just like they finally have a winnable fight here for Beyond, but then for some reason this far is just allowed to flank. Nobody sees it coming. Nobody understands. Oh, hey, that bird is coming towards us. It probably has an ultimate, and it's very concerning to see a team not be able to just tell flanks like this. But or maybe it's just great credit to Daddy Dank, phenomenal flanker, and hiding really well.
Yeah, and they're now finally going for a teleporter. They're trying to get behind. They get inside of them. What's Mori going to do now? They're going to put in an immortality field, but that's already down. Elite will fall as well. Oh, it's not going to be enough. That was a nice attempt, but I don't think you're going to be able to get it that way. Slaughtered like, well, something. It's just not a good look.
It's just not good. All of that entire fight essentially won with a Valkyrie. And now we're just looking at the ultimate economy once again. And we have this interesting thing here on the attack where they're running Baptiste obviously to keep the bunker alive, but then they have a Lucio to try to speed it along, and it, it's not a substantial amount of less healing. It's not like you're running like a Zen Brigida or anything like that, but it's certainly less healing that could be causing these catch-ups in the choke as we're seeing.
It's the same amount of healing, but the Mercy is flying with the power, so technically they should have more healing and speed. There's the barrier to just counter the Gravitic Flux, and it works out that way. And Elite takes down Daddy Dank. That's a good opening pick. The res does come in, but that means the power is gone for a little bit. They don't even have the barrage yet. Swimmer, Mori also falling. Spike going down. Elite is finally on the flank, just trying to counter with his own rockets. It's going to be J2HC not seeing Elite come up. The rocket's not there in time. Wolf is well taken out. They finally get that point after 3 minutes. They will get 3.5 to continue, but they need to make a fast pace if they want to even become close to matching this time.
Yeah, and now time is the enemy rather than the guys on the other side, because if there's any indication of how long point A took to unlock, if we're gonna see point B and even point C captured, it's gonna take quite a few tries. It's gonna take the ultimates finally falling into place. But here on the defenders, once again, there's 2 DPS ultimates and a supercharger to boost both of them that can give you that nice defensive hold you're looking for.
With that Zero, Symmetra ult is very close as well. They can just deny all the follow-up they want. They do get the Immortality Field straight away, but there is the Symmetra wall. What are you going to shoot now with that Bad Bastion ult? Not much, it doesn't seem like. And there's Spike as well, and Daddy Dank, they're just looking for an angle, but there is none, because that wall just traverses the entire map. Sigma ultimate, Sigma wall shield just gets taken out straight away because of the amplification matrix. Elite will fall and gets rezzed. They do still push the card forward. They even get it further and further, and this contest needs to come in. Spike finally drops together with Wolf, but Wolf falls. So does Spike. They do get Daddy Dank's ultimate out, but they won't live because Elite is just being pocketed very well, and this takes them out with one swift shot of that rocket launcher on that tank. They do try the Gravitic Flux, but with only the Baptiste going into the air, they can miss knock Gabby. It's only Swimmer on the card. They can live. And that looks like this point is going to be gone into this second point. I don't think they'll make it. No.
Yes, indeed. They do have that point. They might even be able to get some stagger picks here as the side of xQc's Money Crew, for the first time it feels like in a long time, forced to retreat the pick onto Daddy Dank to seal the deal. And now you're looking at that time bank and you're like, all right, as long as we can do pretty much what we just did on B through C, we might not have the same exact time bank, but we'll have a pretty nice chunk of time in there as well. And that's all you're looking for at this point.
Yeah, you have some ultimates to work with as well. The Sigma ultimate, most support ultimates. And not much on the defense to work with. Do they switch up their Mei? Mori already down. It's a lot of your damage gone. They throw the Gravitic Flux out. I mean, Spike alone on the ground. And they're just going to lose everybody. No one's staying alive here. Nice wall, but it only walls up the Bastion. You just burst through that wall again. And with no contest so far, they might actually be able to beat the time bank, maybe? I don't think they will, but it's getting awfully close here.
We might just have a tie time bank. It might just be as simple as that. Obviously, there will be the last second recap.
Oh, Rub the Hood actually going down. Elite as well. Mori just mowing down everyone with an amplification matrix. This is looking insane in that hold. They were going so well with the snowball, but they need to keep getting the kills, and they're not doing so. It's going to be beyond gaming, just back to spawn, and they're going to have to try again. But they came so close that one fight will win them this objective, so they could still get a time of over a minute.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the only thing to worry about on the other side, whether they know it or not, is just this tank mode. So Mori's going to have to come up big here in the kill feed, or it's going to be overtime rounds here on Blizzard World, and this will be the first breath of fresh air I feel like Beyond has had, and they really do need it, and this could be a momentum shift as well.
Yeah, Zero once again with that wall. It comes out straight away. No damage can be done here because 4,000 health is still a lot, even though it's been nerfed from 5,000. They're gonna just try and come in here. Both shields out from Mean Team and Rob the Hood, and they finally do get another. But another application matrix out. Mori doing a lot of damage, taking out Elite already. Mori goes low, but the Immortality Field saves their alive. It doesn't seem like anything is gonna get done here right now. 1 minute 20 on the clock, and the sweat is starting to drip from your forehead.
Yes, indeed, because that was the fight where, oh, don't worry, this is our advantage, and you lose it. So now you're going to have to deal with a Mei ult on the other side. As Daddy Dank finally off the fire for the first time this match, just a note. On this Mei, almost has the Blizzard built up already, as well as a Bastion ult and that Gravitic Flux, which can force teams off of a cart whether they want to or not. So now, comes down to less than a minute.
That really does, and they're ready to set up for stuff. And Mori also started the tank ultimate. The application matrix shot from the attacker still, but it doesn't matter. Mori gets one shot, triple kill, gets another on Elite. And I don't think this is gonna matter much anymore. You might have 35 seconds left. We have almost no ultimates, and how are you gonna get through this defense now?
I want to know exactly what the play there was because they set up the Baptiste square right in front of Bastion, but then they put a teleporter to try to go behind the enemy team, so the square got no use, and by the time the rest of the team teleported back, they teleported straight into a tank shot. And so now, less than 10 seconds, it's do or die time.
Yeah, they are definitely doing, but it also seems like they're well close to dying as well. Mean team are getting very low. They are still alive, and they get the kill on Mori. That's a good start here. But that Blizzard is great. Gets almost everybody frozen, and it also means that almost everybody is gonna die here likely. Mean team gets a consolation kill onto Wolf, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. You need more members alive. They get another one on the spike, but the Mean team also loses their life. So it does mean it's going to be a May and an Orisa now up to the res, surrounded by everybody else. Zero, the last one to live, will not even get the consolation goal to Daddy. Mori coming back on the Tracer, and that means that with 3-0, the series definitely going to the side of xQc Money Crew. But that doesn't mean we're done just yet, because we're going to play map 4.
Yes, indeed. Needs to still play for map differential at the end of the day. But it is what it is. And going into map 4 now, it'll be interesting to see what Beyond Esports wants to do. But since the series is already locked up, this might be the time where it's like, all right, well, this is essentially a scrim now. You might get to experiment with the new meta a bit more, see if there's anything we can do.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I do want to say though, it does seem like Beyond Esports Black has a as a way of trying to still figure out something new. They're the ones that are flexing most. I feel xQc Money Crew are the ones that just set up, and Beyond Esports has to adapt. But Beyond Esports is trying to adapt. They're trying these creative new things. They're throwing out the Symmetra. They're throwing out the Tracer, the Widowmaker, the McCree. They're the ones that are trying to come up with something new. When the weeks pass, when something new comes along, it might be xQc Money Crew that is going to be in a little bit of trouble. But for now, it just seems like they're doing fine. I don't think they need to shake up anything in this match, but it's something to think about.
well, yeah, and obviously I did mean it more for Beyond Esports, but at the same time, xQc's Money Crew, if you think the map, you're gonna need the map for map differential. Obviously, play it to win it as you always should. But maybe you can experiment for just a little bit, then switch back to what you know, tried and true.
We've seen
And it
it.
looks
We've
like
seen it happen a lot in matches lately, where it's just 3-0 and the last map is just a blast of off-meta stuff. And
Yes, indeed.
Havana is definitely a map to do it on. This is the map where both teams can just go with snipers and say, you know what? We just make a gentleman's agreement. It doesn't matter what happens on this map because the series is already over. It's gonna play something fun. We've even see some Torbjorn hammer kills. You know, the rule of getting more hammer kills than your enemy has map wins you the series didn't quite work out because I think they got 2 and the enemy had 3 map wins. So needed to get 4. But who knows? Maybe they're going to be able to make it happen this time.
Yes, indeed. As we're gonna see, the defenders being the side of Beyond Esports here, starting it up. Looks like they're gonna try this bunker composition once again. The May is an interesting pick here on Havana because obviously zone control is always going to be the name of the game. But the streets are wide enough and there's enough off angles to where May can sometimes feel like you're throwing up a wall and it's like, cool, what is this going to do for us? But it can still hugely impact the way of the game. Meanwhile, on the other side, looks like Daddy Dank wants to roll out on that Varo one more time.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting that you see a lot of teams holding very close to the spawn, and that's not what they're doing here. So Daddy Dank will actually be able to get out of spawn without a lot of contest. This is going through that offside. We'll go over the flank once again. The Bastion just trying to shoot in from a long range. Mori's going to set up on this cart, but there's not a lot of shield left to help Mori out. And Mori in a lot of trouble already, taking a lot of damage from Elite, especially with that May wall. That's a nice one. Just throwing the Bastion away from the Immortality field, away from those shields. And now they're just going to try and focus something down. They need to get a kill on something, but Daddy Dank is just shooting rockets in from the side. Who's going to deal with that pharmacy in the sky? Looks like no one. Now they're trapped on the high ground. That's not something you will often see happen. where the high ground is actually the place where you don't want to be. But Elite takes down Mori. Elite will fall to the barrage here, but it's a good start taking down that Bastion. But the res comes in. Swimmer once again uncontested on that Mercy. That means that Daddy Dank and Mori are going to be able to do a lot of damage here. They do take down J2HC on the other side, but Mori is established, is on the payload, and will not let anyone get out alive. That's point A.
That's point A. All she wrote. There was that slight little moment where it could have gone either way, but then xQc's Money Crew, as I like to say, gave him the old razzle dazzle, showed him what was up, and now we're having switches once again. Elite back over to the Tracer, possibly trying to do some stuff. And now we're going to see the new and improved Roadhog as we've been hyping up in play for the first time here.
We saw it earlier already, which was doing okay on Anubis, but it's still, you know, one of those things where you're still missing that second barrier. But with that extra damage of the Tracer in close range and that Roadhog that could potentially break those shields and do a lot of damage, the more he gets hooked in there. But the Immortality Field once again saving them, even though the nerf health was there. Mori will fall eventually, and the Nano Boosted Rob the Hood will just walk in there, no regard for their own safety, just tries to kill everything. And J2HC, you're on that high ground, you're all alone. That Hulk comes in, the Hook will follow suit, but they'd actually knock Gabby. This goes up there to get killed by the Sigma. I mean, you'll still be able to win the fight eventually, but that's maybe not a pick you should have given.
I mean, you do just get kill hungry as the supports. Not Gabby there was like, I got the sleep, I got the anti, this one's me, I got this. Now, over on the other side, we do have the standard, or more standard double barrier, I guess you could call it, with Mori now onto this nice powerful Reaper, whereas Daddy Dank will be taking up the Mei role here. And
oh, J2HC, you can't block those kinetic grabs. Use a kinetic grabs to block the Hook anymore. Rob the Hood will take Spike down as well. No more Mercy on their team, so that means these fields are permanent. But Mori is still alive, and we've seen Reaper clutch many a fight before. Will not live through this one, but has already done a lot of work taking down both tanks here. Means that the Mei and the Ana will now try and run away from Zero and knock Gabby, and they are getting quite far. But they need some respawns in order to make this fight work, and they're gonna go down. They need to do something here on the defense beyond esports. They're trying to do something here, but J2HC did so much damage to Elite that Elite is just scared to walk out. They need to start touching the card pretty soon, not just yet. They have some time to get some respawns, but Mean Team already down. Rob the Hood falling as well without any tanks. What are you really gonna get done? It doesn't look like much.
yeah, indeed, and just it looks like the stagger picks are going to come out here to finish off this point. Elite on the Tracer, stalling out objective, as has been the case, but it is point 2 captured. And just that entirety of point B, it was interesting because there was some nice defensive hold, but I mean, the fight just keeps going. They're like, you know what, we're going to keep getting more staggers.
Yeah, it's not really a fight, right? It's just they're just gonna keep cleaning up everyone that wants to walk too far out of spawn, and right now, Elite and not Gabby and Ion, they're safe and sound inside the Sea Fortress. I think the staggers have stopped, but it's a shame.
But this could be a very nice snowball here on third. As we see the attackers have every ultimate online, outside of Swimmer slowly building up to that beat, but you know, one little amp of heals could potentially get it there. Then on the other side, I mean, Elite tries to dedicate a pulse bomb, and unfortunately,
the modernized wall just gets walled off, taken out. Zero, Rob the Hood is going to be underneath the bridge, but the only kill that comes in is Elite taking down Mori. Zero will fall as well, so it's still relatively even, with, especially with those respawn advantages. Elite takes down another, and J2HC, the Widowmaker, finally doing some work here. And Elite now going to take position on the high ground, takes down another one, finally has a space to work with. And what are you going to do now? Now you got to run up to a Widowmaker that has all the space to work with, and yeah, Elite's hitting the shots.
Yes, indeed. Hitting the shots through 2 barriers obviously might help if one of the barriers isn't deployed at the time, but that is a-okay. This is the stop you needed for the defense here. But on the attacker side, their advantage still is all they lost in that fight was a coalescence. And the Gorilla Cluster initiate.
It's a pretty good one. I don't think they're going to actually get some kills out of this. And Zero also threw out the Blizzard, so they're actually going to get 2 from Rob the Hood there. As a follow-up, that means 2 tanks down, Swimmer falling to Elite's melee, and that means that with 4 down, what are you going to do here? They're really going to get anything done. Wolf is just trying, but just drops off the map into the cliffs of Havana.
Yes, indeed, and this is where it gets interesting, because now you've burnt 2 minutes off this time bank where they were coming in with a huge head of steam snowball advantage. And what do you do here if you're the attackers? You have to play this very cautious style, especially with the Widowmaker sight lines, even though you do have double barrier. But Roadhog, with the extra bullet in the clip, as well as just the damage output he normally had, these shields aren't exactly lasting forever, so Widowmaker is just getting these nice little flank shots as the fight resumes.
And Elite takes even a higher position on the high ground as well. Takes out Mori again. You get nothing done with that Reaper ult if you're not alive to use it. And that means that all these ultimates are just going to be wasted because Elite takes on J2HC again. Swimmer tries to go for that Widowmaker, but it gets attacked by Ion on the Lucio. The Lucio is having a fight off the cliff here on the side of the wall of this castle. Swimmer finally getting Elite, but that took way too long. The rest of the team is already dead, and Swimmer will follow suit as well.
And now we see Mori finally deciding, you know what, I'm going to put an end to this, mirroring the compositions to the T outside of a Roadhog Sigma difference, of course. But now we have a Widow duel on our hands. It's just one side has 2 shields, one side has a Roadhog to burn 2 shields.
Yeah, the Coalescence comes out here from Wolf. It's already up, but the Coalescence comes out from the defense as well. Swimmer already under a lot of pressure. 2 health, will not survive this one. Spike, Mori, I mean, everyone's just going down. Mori trying to match that Widowmaker of Elite, but not doing a good job. Was getting frustrated on that Reaper, I'll bet. But you know what? You can be frustrated all you want. You still got to hit those shots, and Wolf will also go down late. Only 55 seconds left on the clock. This is starting to be a great hold.
This has just been phenomenal. It's been a lot off of the back of Elite, but also finally the tanks have come online. They're creating space. Meme Team and Rob the Hood showing that they can play with the best of them if, you know, possibly just a map too late, but hey, at the same time, they're getting to play off meta and it's working for them.
There's a Blizzard though coming out from Daddy Dank, but so is a sound barrier and the Blizzard from Zero as well. Daddy Dank will follow the Rob the Hood. He throws down the whole hog, and it means it's only a Widowmaker behind the enemy team. Mori not in any position to be safe. When Swimmer as well falling to Rob the Hood. Rob the Hood on this Roadhog has been tearing it out.
Absolutely, it's one of my favorite characters, so it's nice to see somebody put in work for the first time. And as we're hitting overtime though, the Flux,
they don't touch the point. They just barely not make it. Both Spike and Wolf were too busy using their ultimates and rolling around 2 other targets. So this payload is going to stop where it stops. 2 checkpoints gone, but only 69 meters afterwards. That means it's a good chance for the attackers to get a little bit further, because that's not a checkpoint that's even close to the last door, I feel. I don't think they even got to the gate.
Yes, indeed. So this is your chance to strike back if you are beyond, because nobody wants to get shut out. Nobody wants that 4-0 on their record. This is to show, all right, possibly going forward, this could be a new strategy for us. This could be just us proving our mental fortitude, make sure we're okay as a team moving forward. And, sometimes you just need those moral victories.
Yeah, in 10 seconds we can see exactly where that box of victory is on the last point. I'm just waiting for that because I'm gonna kind of get a picture of how far it got. But I don't think it got to the gate at all. They barely touched the bridge, I feel. Yeah, it was the middle of the bridge, and that's a very reachable position. Basically, once you get to the second checkpoint, that's a distance the payload will usually just get to, like naturally speaking. So I feel this is a very winnable map as long as they get through first and second. Which is still, they can still not get through there, especially with Daddy Dank.
Yeah, it's just all they have to do is get through first and second. Meanwhile, they have to get through first and second. I mean, Havana first point is notorious for holds just because of the wide corners. Yeah. There's so many different ways defenders can do things.
Oh, and they're holding close. They're doing it, especially with Daddy Dank being able to hover above that spawn or that fire. It's going to be hard for them to get through.
It's indeed, but Elite on the Tracer seeming to be the play here, as well as Zero on the May, possibly build up Blizzards. But Robin Hood starts off on that Roadhog once more.
Hey, you see them looking around like, where are they? Oh, wait, there they are. The wall comes out already. Now I'll be able to focus on the fire without anything else looking at them. Not Gabby going very low, but they have the spawn right there. They're just pushing the payload, getting that card further and further. Only J2HC on that will go down. They trade the Sigma for the May, and I think you're going to be happy about that. Not Gabby going down as well, though. That's one you maybe didn't want to lose, but they're slowly pushing them back. It's only going to be the Rob the Hood trying to get into that roof on the side, but will not die because he's got way too much health, way too much sustain. And now just going to be them running around them. They actually surrounded them, and their spawn is closer. So that means that without the Baptista Wolf now, this Bastion Orisa comp is actually quite on a lot of bit of pressure. They do get the res here on the Baptiste, but the Orisa is already down, so that means no more shield for Mori, and they will keep getting some kills here. But the time is being wasted. And eventually, a sustained fight should go in the favor of the attackers.
I mean, potentially as they're being forced to retreat here, but Moby seemed to hear in that last fight just, oh, I'm surrounded, good, I can attack in any direction so please. Meanwhile, the pulse bomb does miss, so without any shields, this could be rough here for the side of xQc's Money Crew.
Oh, Mori going lower and lower, but doesn't actually get finished off. Rob the Hood, meanwhile, will fall, and the Coalescence is out to try and pressure back that Pharmacy. It's only Lucio in the air for the Gravitic Flux, though, and they will get sniped in the air by Mori's tank ultimate. Will take down Mean Team and Zero as well. This push is over, but 2.5 minutes, they still have some time to work with.
Yes, indeed, you still have some time, you still have some ultimates. Blizzard obviously being a huge one, unless J2HC can come up big with that Sigma's Kinetic Grasp, eat it all up, num 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 num. But, so right now, pretty much the key thing to look out for is if Elite can pressure the supporters, because I feel like the supports on the side of xQc's Money Crew have had free reign this game. Swimmer's gotten a lot of resurrects off Wolf, regardless, but there's the initiation.
Oh, the health goes so low. They do take the J2HC, but they use Rob the Hood. The team, they aren't being traded out, so it's a tank and a tank versus a DPS and a tank. And it's a nice pulse bomb, takes down both deployables. Mori falling as well, and the rest comes out on Daddy Dank. It means no more Bastion because you can't really resurrect something if you already resurrected something. Wolf going very low as well, with able to get the kill on the Baptiste. Doesn't look like it, but they don't have the Bastion anymore. It's only the Fire. It doesn't even have the Barrage. We get hooked out of the sky. Swimmer trying to get away from everything, but Spike is frozen. There's no safety for you this time, Swimmer. Tries to go back to the Baptiste, but will not be able to get alive out of this one. It's going to be Elite trying to come back from spawn, but he just runs away back to it as well. Who are you really going to go for? I think they're going to go for the high ground, but there's been so many people dropping late.
Yes, indeed. Now it comes down
Oh,
to
they found him. Elite found him. Oh, the
But
pulse
Elite
bomb's out.
pays.
Oh, they missed the pulse bomb.
The question is going to be the recontest here, and it looks like it's just the Orisa and the Mei coming out as the wall did it what it had to.
Oh, but Mori is out as well with the application matrix. They needed everything there, and they didn't get enough. And Rob the Hood would not Gabby would fall late. 45 seconds on the clock, and now they're under time pressure.
There's such a clutch factor to xQc's Money Crew. They lose 2 in these fights. It's finally like, all right, this is our win time. And one of the DPS decides, no, I'm ending this here and now. Obviously with the help of support ultimates, what feels like pretty often, but it just, there's an extra clutch factor you can't count on, that can't go into calculations as we're nearing what could be final fight.
Yeah. Oh, what a hold hook. Nice combination. Spike goes down early. That's a good pick to start off with. And now they're going to try and get something more done. Yes, the tank ult is out from Mori, but everyone is under the sound barrier. Swimmer will fall as well. What are you going to do now? No tank, no support. Daddy Dank on the payload, trying to stall it out as long as possible. Has no block left. We just get hooked into oblivion, it seems like. Mori alone on the high ground. Will not even have a shield anymore. And Mori, you're not going to be alive for long either. In overtime, they do cap it. And goal A has been achieved. They capped first point.
Yes, indeed. There's just 2 more to go. Obviously, you don't have to get all the way through C, but there's still a point to be captured as Elite finally showing why Tracer is so terrifying, especially with his extra damage fall off. And there's
Oh,
the stick.
nice stick on the J2HC. Nice early pick. No more mercy on that side as well, so no rest for that. That's already a numbers advantage. And they just have to do so much effort. They do get the headshot. And the Mei headshot is, of course, a one-shot on Tracer. No matter if it's damage boosted, no matter how far away you are, you'll always get knocked down by that icicle.
Yes, indeed. That icicle does
Ooh.
all of the damage. And now we have Mori on the Reaper instead of the Bastion. The Bastion game been given up. Rob dropping very low.
Yeah, looks like they want to get that Roadhog, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it so far. Rob is going to get frozen up. No, the freeze actually not coming out on anyone but Zero, but throw out the Counter Blizzard, and the Counter Blizzard looks to be a little bit better because the health bars are dropping so low on the defense. xQc's Money Crew, they're getting out alive, but Mori is not so lucky. Nice ultimate from Rob the Hood to follow that one up, pushing everybody away. The Pulse Bomb won't get a kill this time, but forces out the Ice Block. Will Zero get the kill? Won't get the kill on the Wolf, but Wolf is very low. Daddy Dank versus Zero. Daddy Dank wins, but the rest of the team is there, so it's a hollow victory, really. And this point is in a lot of jeopardy to just get picked up straight away. Yes, they're close with some respawns. There's also such a small choke to get through.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like that is going to be B, which gets you that extra time on the clock, unless, of course,
Yeah, they're
there's going
not
to be
gonna
a last
try.
second hit. Yep.
No, they're not trying. They were thinking of it, but they thought the better of it after they saw everyone just camping those chokes. Elite going in deep straight away again. And now this is where we thought it was going to be easy. It's only that last little stretch they were better on this part of the map throughout that entire defense. This is where they're going to be able to potentially win this map. Daddy Dank going in very close with that May, trying to freeze everybody up, and they get a lot of freezes on the Gravitic Flux. They get so many kills out of that one. J2HC, the hero of that fight, together with Daddy Dank, and that is going to be cleanup. Now you're going to have a little bit of a rougher time coming out of spawn, I feel.
Yeah, and that's why I'm interested in why they committed so hard to a fight at this choke right here. Just because the spawn is, if they wanted to hold cart, essentially behind them, so they're gonna have to still give up some payload space regardless. And the supercharger to initiate this fight once more.
Nice early kill on the J2HC. Elite getting that one down. Goes forward, doesn't get the pulse bomb kill, but they just push them back. And the more space they buy, the closer you get to one fight territory. Yes, the time bank is also getting lower and lower, but you have that sound barrier versus those two DPS ultimates. You have Zero's Blizzard coming up very close. Mori trying to teleport behind them, but they already spotted them out. Ion knows exactly where that Reaper is. You're not going to be able to do anything about that. Nice Blizzard onto the defense and the attacking side. Mori comes in with Death Blossom only gets Ion, but Zero and J2HC, meme team. A lot of people falling here, but that's also a lot of ultimates used on the attack, on the defense side. And what are you going to do if you're beyond eSports Black now?
I mean, this is the point where you're like, you take that fight, you regroup because you still have 40 seconds left. The only ult that is online for either of these teams right now is Ion with the beat drop. You might build up to a hold hog in an extended fight. You'll certainly build up a pulse bomb as long as Elite does not get picked off. So this is what you're going to have to play around. You got 30 seconds. As long as you can initiate with beat and just roll over the other side, this is where you can win this fight and finally win a map.
Looking good. Mori already raiding out. Swimmer tries to go for Elite here, but you're not going to kill that Tracer as a Lucio. Elite has the pulse bomb ready, trying to find an angle to go in. Gets Swimmer already. That's the first one out. The pulse bomb, which forces out the ice log. There's the coalescence. The beat drop is still there. Mori tries to get close, but he gets forced out once again. A 1 HP Reaper. Spike drops to the floor as well. No Orisa on that cart. They're getting so close. Only a few meters to go. The Blizzard is out from the defense. Zero is frozen. Will they get taken down? No, the healing was there. The beat drop of Ion never got, I think they never actually went off. And that means with the only 0.73 meters, it looks like there's going to be a hold for xQc's Money Crew. That got way closer than the other map, so they got to be proud of that one. But unfortunately, it's still going to be the 4-0.
Yes, indeed it is. Valiantly fought, but just in the end, it came down to just a few meters too many. And xQc's Money Crew now moving up to 5-2 in the standings. They've got to be feeling good about that. As we show off just a little bit of Bastion play here, obviously.
Oh, this was that clutch one, that clutch fight that you said, like, how did they get away with it? Well, you see it right there. Amplification Matrix, no cover. You just beam them down. No matter how far away they are, you will never win that fight. So yeah, that's a nice play from them there. It was a fun series overall, especially that last map got very close, but we did see a few new things being pulled out, especially that Elite Tracer did a lot of work on a lot of different maps. And yeah, I'm all for it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because what better series to get us here in the Grandmaster Division? Because, like you said, in that last map, they pulled out a bunch of different things. We finally see Tracer possibly having an impact on the meta once again with the new damage fall-offs. And I feel like this was just the slightest inkling of a sample of what's to come in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and that brings us to the most important part of every night at the Rose Cup here. And that's talking about who we thought deserves that most valuable player spot. And you know what? I'm going to start it off for you. I'm going to make it easier so you can just respond to what I pick. I have a very tough time picking between J2HC and Swimmer, in all honesty. Not actually the DPS that I'm going to go for, because I do feel a lot of that was just set up by what the rest of the team did.
I was actually going to be on say the same thing, except I was going to say just 100% Swimmer because of the like the amount of resurrections, the keeping the entire team alive. There was a clear coordination between the team as a whole, but I think Swimmer did stand out, of course, on
Yeah,
that
and
Mercy and sometimes on the Lucio.
yeah, I mean, as a support player, you know they're going to be a lot very vocal in the chat as well. So it's very likely that they were a large part of the brain of the team, if you want to call it that. So yeah, I can live with that. I can definitely live with Swimmer getting that MVP vote here tonight. So congratulations on that one. You got it from us. If the chat feels differently, I mean, we'll just have to see what they think, but they're going to be a little bit behind us. For now, though, I'm going to wish everyone a great night. I've been Men of Class with Megalad, obviously, and behind us, in the production booth, breathing in our ears, laughing in our ears, just shouting whenever a great play happens. It's going to be the first night of Neat. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Obviously, follow, like, subscribe, do anything you want, and we'll see you. We'll see you around. Hopefully, we'll see you play. If we don't see you play, we hope to see you in chat. And yeah, again, have a great one.